Good evening and welcome to the City of Roswell Mayor and City Council meeting for November the 14th, 2022. I'm Mayor Kurt Wilson. I'd like to acknowledge the council members present. Councilmember Christine Hall, Councilmember Lee Hills, Councilmember William Mortland, Councilmember Michael Palermo, Councilmember Dr. Peter Van Strom. I will now turn it over to our city administrator, Mr. Randy Knighton, to explain how the meeting is run. Mr. Knighton.
Thank you, Mayor Wilson. In accordance with Section Chapter 3.70 of the City Code, the City Council shall hold regular public meetings. The purpose of City Council meetings are for the public to participate and speak on agenda items which constitute formal decisions by the elected body. These items are listed on the published agenda, which can be accessed via our city website or outside prior to the meeting. This is a public meeting, and some items do require a formal public hearing. A significant and important component of City Council meetings are to hear directly from citizens on items listed on the published agenda. Public comments or questions are essential for Mayor and Council to consider and incorporate as they contemplate each decision. Citizens are at the top of the organizational chart, and therefore it is imperative for Mayor and Council to hear from citizens in these meetings. If you would like to speak on an item, we ask that you fill out a comment card in order to ensure an accurate record of the meeting. We ask, of course, that everyone observe the principles of mutual respect and display the appropriate demeanor during the course of the meeting this evening, which should be and is reflective of this great community. The mayor is the presiding officer of the meeting and will ensure the orderly exchange of comments, questions, and discussion leading to decision-making by the elected body. We'd also encourage everyone in attendance and the viewing audience to visit the city website for meetings, events, and departmental information. We also encourage you to review and participate in the various activities offered by the city. There are events scheduled coming up in the city of Roswell that the mayor will speak about in just a moment, which promote community, physical activity, and leisure as we make Roswell the #1 family community in America. Mayor Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Knighton. At this time, I'd like to call Pastor Brian Oakes from Christ Fellowship Church to the front for the invocation and moment of silence. Well, sometimes you do have a snafu. So, I'd like to call upon So at this time, I'm going to ask our esteemed veteran this evening, Mr. Rick Leake, to open us up with an invocation and a moment of silence.
Our Father in heaven, Father of all, we ask that our spirit be with us during this meeting, that it will settle upon us that the right decision to be made, and our hearts be warmed by their presence. Amen.
Amen. It's a great prayer. Thank you, Mr. Leake. At this time, I'd like to call Steve Haynes, who is in the United States Army and is the Vet Buds co-founder, to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Steve Haynes. As mentioned before, Steve is the co-founder of Vet Buds. If you don't know what Vet Buds is, check out Vet Buds, a great organization for veterans. Steve, thanks for all your hard work with that.
Thank you very much.
So next on the agenda is the mayor's report. My first item is the reading of a proclamation for the esteemed veteran of Roswell Award to Specialist 4th Class Rick Leak. I'm also going to be asking, I've got another piece here, Rick's uncle, father-in-law is Doug Allen, a World War II veteran who we honored in October. So a bunch of Rick's compadres, esteemed gentlemen as well, will be joining Rick for the proclamation, as well as Doug Allen. So, Rick, if you will, sir. This is outstanding.
At this time, I'm going to ask my Vietnam veteran brothers and members of the Vietnam Veterans Business Association to join us in this honor, as well as with my esteemed father-in-law. At this time, I'd like to I've invited up my Atlanta Vietnam veteran brothers, as well as my esteemed father-in-law and my brother-in-law, all Vietnam veterans.
Thank you, Rick. Outstanding. Proclamation, Office of the Mayor, Specialist 4th Class Rick Leak, esteemed veteran of Roswell. Whereas Richard Leak married Rebecca Allen in June 1969 while they were attending the University of Georgia.
Much to his consternation.
Rick was offered a job as a cost analyst at the DuPont Corporation plant located in Chattanooga, Tennessee. In December 1969, the first Armed Forces Draft Lottery was held based on birth month and day. Rick's birthday was selected as number 17 in order for the draft. He graduated in March 1970 with a Bachelor of Business Administration degree and went to work at DuPont. In June of 1970, he was drafted to serve in the United States Army. And whereas after basic training, Rick was selected to serve as an accounting specialist and sent to Fort Benjamin Harrison in Indianapolis, Indiana. After completion of his advanced training, he was selected to be sent to Vietnam. Rick arrived in Cam Ranh Bay, Vietnam, and was assigned to the 7th Finance Division at the Ben Ho Army Base, where he stayed for 8 months. His unit was then transferred to Military Assistance Command Headquarters in Saigon, which is now called Ho Chi Minh City. Rick's unit prepared payroll vouchers for individuals, assembled the unit payrolls, and issued payments in military payment currency. Military payment currency resembles the board game Monopoly Money, as United States currency was prohibited. And whereas an occasional rocket attack on the nearby Ben Ho Air Base would make it necessary to wait out the attack in nearby bunkers. Rick's unit was assigned a perimeter bunker for security duty, and each night 3 men in his group would be issued rifles, a machine gun, a grenade launcher, and ammunition. They spent the night alternating careful watches in a bunker on the perimeter of the Ben Ho base. And whereas in the midst of such destruction and despair, Rick found some inner peace during the war when he would get an off-base permit and visit the My Linh Rehabilitation Center for children injured during the war. Rick's wife, Rebecca, would mail him small toys to distribute, and he would play with the children and form bonds of friendship and trust. Rick discovered the children liked having their portraits taken on each visit, and he would return copies of their pictures. He grew very fond of 3 special children, affectionately nicknamed Charlie, Roy, and Moonshine. Another special memory was after spending Christmas Eve 1970 on guard duty, he hitchhiked on a Jeep to Long Binh Base about 30 minutes away and saw a Bob Hope Christmas show in person. After his 12-month tour in Vietnam, Rick was assigned as a records clerk at Sandia Base Army Hospital in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And whereas Rick was welcomed back to DuPont in Chattanooga and subsequently moved his family to Roswell in 1986, in his retirement, Rick stays busy with his 26 grandchildren and helping the Roswell Historical Society Cemetery Committee, and currently serves as a board member of the Vietnam Veterans Business Association. And whereas Specialist 4th Class Rick Leak received his honorable discharge on December 23, 1971, and the United States Army awarded and bestowed the following medals: National Defense Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal, and M16 Sharpshooter Medal. Now therefore I, Kurt M. Wilson, Mayor of the City of Roswell, do hereby name Specialist 4th Class Rick Leak, an esteemed veteran of Roswell, and call upon all our citizens to recognize his outstanding service to our country and our community, and that there is no higher calling than those who have served in the United States Armed Forces.
Well, I think I'm supposed to say just a word or two, but these gentlemen that are here worked a lot harder than I did. I just made sure that they got paid. 11 Air Service medals with valor. Air Cal. Two tours. all of these guys, and this guy was a Navy corpsman, flying off a Navy ship and rescuing and bringing back to help them recover from their injuries. It's not clear to me, but I'm sure he saved lives while he was there. This is my brother-in-law, Andy Mark. So thank you, citizens. Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate it. Brothers, I appreciate all of you being here. And I thank almost half of my 26 grandchildren and family for being here. Andy, all right, Andy will say. All right, again, thank you so much, Mayor and the City Council. And, yeah, so there I am up there. Don't I look cute? I look young and skinny, didn't I? Could you flash to one of the pictures of one of the children, with me and with the children? There we go, money, there we go, there we go. So this is us at the Me Lynn Orphanage, and the picture at the bottom, middle. How about up in the upper right, the kids dressed in their scout uniforms with Baden Powell. It's absolutely an amazing experience. I really loved them. It warmed my heart to go, and I really loved Chuck, Roy, and Moonshine a lot.
For anybody that's interested, we got an extra $40 a month for combat pay, if you remember, which brought us all the way up to about $160 a month. So the good news was that we couldn't spend it. We had to save it. We got back home. We had a little bit of money. Thanks to him.
One other quick thing, and for all of us as veterans, being a veteran is a family affair. Whether you're married like I was and my wife was home and had to, after going through college and living on our own for a little while, having to move back in with her family, and every day writing letters, or we did a lot of cassette tapes. But the families are as much a part of our veteran experience and as us being there. Yeah. So again, thank you, brothers. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So I kind of want to address the 26 grandchildren as you guys are walking away. Y'all go ahead and sit down. It's okay. Thank you for your service. So one of the things I'll share with you that I guess it's fun to see smiles and camaraderie, because what I want to tell the grandchildren more than anything, and one of the reasons we decided to do this, is that when they were in service in Vietnam, and I can tell you this because I went in 1980, and when I went in 1980, the military was not seen in a very good light. Well, there wasn't a lot of parades and hoorah and thank you for your service, and we're glad you did this. And the gentlemen and ladies that served in Vietnam, I can't tell you, I still can't even really think about it, to be honest with you, how hard it was on these guys. Because they were never welcomed, they were never thanked. They weren't. Matter of fact, they were looked down upon. It was a much different time. And so what I say to the 26 grandchildren and all the young people in here is one of the reasons we do this is to honor the best of us and honor the best of our instincts, which is to serve, and to remember that. And so one of the things I'm very thankful for as a community and as a country is that we did turn the tide and that we are now thankful for those that have served. Because when they served, we weren't thankful. And I remember that very clearly. So I say that to you going forward, that please don't let that happen again. Please don't let a time come in our history again where we are unappreciative of those who serve us. Please don't let ever that happen again. It's one of the reasons we do this. So thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here, and thank you for your service. One of the best things about the city council meetings is that after the esteemed veteran award, the room cleans out. And that is A-okay with us, because it's the best part. Okay, let me get used to this thing. The next item under the mayor's report is the approval of a resolution of the City of Roswell to approve a distribution of local option sales tax lost proceeds and to authorize the mayor to execute a certificate of distribution for submission to the Commissioner of the Department of Revenue to preserve rights and other purposes. And Marley has put a little note here for me to say something. So I'm assuming that everybody in the room and everybody watching has heard of LOST. It is something that's negotiated every 10 years between the counties and the municipalities inside the county every 10 years in the state of Georgia. This year, when we first came in, we knew the LOST negotiations don't start. They'll begin until July 1st, and you have till December the 31st to conclude those. And under the current law of LOST, L-O-S-T, local option sales tax, basically it's taking 1% of sales tax that is spent in the county and distributing that. It's going to be approximately worth $4 billion over the next 10 years. And so for the last 5 months, we've been negotiating on how that $4 billion would get distributed. It was contentious, to say the least. But one of the things that was amazing was the unprecedented way that all 15 cities in Fulton County stayed together. And at the end of the day, I believe that a very sound agreement was struck both for the county and for the 15 municipalities. And I'm very proud of working with my 14 sister cities. And at the end of the day, I think that Fulton County came to the table, and we're very proud of the deal we put together with them. So, a lot to talk about, but I won't bore with you. Hopefully you've been following that. And I can tell you it's taken up a tremendous amount of everyone's time, especially Mr. Knighton's and Mr. Davidson's as well, and Mr. Luckett's, our finance director. So my thanks to them for their great work, and really tickled that here on November the 14th, we have a lost resolution to bring to the council to approve. It's way ahead of schedule, and I can't tell you how gratified I am by that. So, does council have any questions or comments they would like to make in reference to this resolution on lost? Councilmember Dr. Peter Van Strom.
I do. I'd like to just remind everybody how lost this was in the beginning and how far off the numbers were. I think at 35% is an initial proposal by the county. And I'd like to commend our mayor publicly for his work beyond and above the call of duty in making sure that he was involved daily in making sure that this was a fair and equitable deal. So I'd like to thank the mayor for that. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Peter, very much. Councilmember Mike Palermo.
Thank you, Mayor Wilson. Yes, I think there was great public following of what was going on, because I'd say in my words, I feel the original offer and proposal from Fulton was extremely aggressive, and one that did not benefit the residents of Roswell, nor did it benefit local control. And I think, frankly, that we're very fortunate to have the mayor representing us, that as he really worked hard to really find that common ground with 14 other cities, so all 15 cities in Fulton County. Amazing to hear about that unity, and the mayor and other mayors working well together. And ironically, there's times where I'm always paranoid of elected officials working together and not in the benefit of really back home here in Roswell. And just this was a great example where it was a group working together and definitely benefited all of us at the local level. So I certainly will be supporting this, and definitely kudos to the mayor for really well done, difficult, but now I think really just great negotiation.
Thank you, Michael. Means a lot. Councilmember Christine Hall.
Thank you. In addition to thanking the mayor and the mayors of the 14 other cities, thank you to all the residents that came out to the various town halls, both the one that was hosted here in Roswell and the one that was hosted in South Fulton, and for all of the efforts writing into the commissioners to let them know your feelings about it. So it was truly a community come together like we've never seen before, and thank you for leading that effort.
Thank you, Christine. All right, so with no other comments, and thanks for, I will, not to make it just a giant glad-handing show, but one of the things that is so important when you are in a very deep negotiation is to know that you have your colleagues behind you. And I had my colleagues of Peter and Michael and Lee and Christine and Will behind me. They stay informed, and they gave me a tremendous solid backing to be able to work in this very delicate negotiation. So it truly was a team effort, and I can't thank you enough for you guys, just all the support you gave. It really made a difference. All right. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on the potential resolution of lost? Well, being that nobody from the public would like to speak, I'll bring it back to the council for any additional comments or questions. With no comments or questions from council, do I have a motion to approve the resolution? Christine Hall makes a motion to approve the resolution. Do I have a second?
Second.
seconded by Councilmember Hills. All those in favor of the approval of a resolution of the City of Roswell to approve a distribution of local option sales tax proceeds, authorize the mayor to execute a certificate of distribution for submission to the Commissioner of the Department of Revenue to preserve rights and other purposes, please raise your hands. The resolution passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Last item on the mayor's report. Well, let me just a quick aside. I think we checked. This is our first ever meeting, I believe, where we have moved out of City Hall. Those of you who know me, know I'm very happy. I would like to move meetings all over the city. And off the dais in City Hall, my least favorite place in the entire place of Roswell is that gigantic dais. And I love this. Card tables with green tablecloth, and just as simple, same level as our fellow residents. I think this is the way it's supposed to be. I love this. Can't do enough of this. So I'm happy tonight that we're in East Roswell. A friend of mine, we were at a Willow Springs thing on Saturday. He said, "Oh, you're just doing this for the politics of it." I said, "Brother, I'd do one of these every meeting outside of City Hall, because I think you're supposed to be where your fellow residents are." I love this, and I love the simplicity of this. So thank you, council, for allowing this to happen. Thank you, Randy, for you and your team making this happen. And all I can tell you is that we will do more of these in the future. And thank you for all of you who showed up and came to the meeting tonight. It's kind of cool. So the last item are the upcoming events in the city of Roswell. The first item is the Christmas tree lighting this year will be held at the heart of Roswell Park on Canton Street from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Friday, December the 2nd, to kick off the holiday season. We'll be celebrating with Christmas carols, hot chocolate, fire pits, and s'mores, a special reading of Twas the Night Before Christmas, and a lighting of a 40-foot Christmas tree. We'll also have a special visit from Santa Claus, and if you drove by downtown Canton today, you probably saw the beginning of construction for the Christmas tree. I know that very few of us know this, but there was actually an election last Tuesday, and so we're going to have a runoff. There's an open city council seat, and there are two wonderful Roswell residents that are running for this city council seat, post 1, on Tuesday, December 2nd. We're waiting for the exact times and dates for early voting. We will post that on our website. But the election itself is on Tuesday, December the 6th. It's right around the corner. And what happens a lot of time is, on runoffs, I don't have to tell anybody, but I will obviously share the obvious, is that runoffs, usually people don't get back out and vote. And the city council race is very important. It's very important to our future. And I ask that all of our residents stay involved and make sure you get out and vote on Tuesday, December the 6th. So that ends the mayor's report. Next is the consent agenda. Does council have any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda or any items on the consent agenda? Thank you, council. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on the consent agenda? Thank you, public. I'll bring it back to council for any additional thoughts or comments on the consent agenda. That being none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion by Councilman Peter Vanstrom. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Will Morthland. All those in favor of approval of the consent agenda this evening, please raise your hands. Consent agenda passes unanimously. Thank you so much. Next is the Community Development Department. Councilmember Palermo, will you read the first community development item, please, sir?
Item number 1, approval of retaining wall for the Oaks in accordance with Unified Development Code Section 10.5. The developer has requested a deferral from the November 14th, 2022 Mayor and Council meeting to the November 28th, 2022 Mayor and Council meeting. And I am intending to motion to defer this. And just so the public's aware, that's we did change the rule on deferral requests a number of years back, because what would often happen is the day of, a lot of people would make their plans wanting to come talk in support or opposition of a potential development, and last minute, at, like 5 o'clock that Monday, the deferral would occur, even though some residents might have already had a babysitter, they might have had their plans around it, et cetera. So we did create something that said it could not be the day of they're requesting it. This is not being requested the day of. This was requested last week, and that is the motion I intend to make.
So, Councilmember Palermo, with your permission, I'm going to ask you to make a motion on the deferral. Would you make a motion on the deferral?
I would, but I would want the opportunity for the public to weigh in case anyone's not able to make it on November 28th.
Let me ask some guidance from you just from that, because you made a good point. People may have made plans, but they're going to have to come back and talk later. Do you think that it's in their best interest to just go ahead and speak on it tonight as well as the following night?
I'd say, I'd recommend, and what I've seen historically is if this is an item that you'd like to speak on and you're not able to make it on November 28th, I definitely recommend coming up tonight. If not, I think it's helpful to make sure to be prepared on November 28th.
All right, thanks, Mike. All right, so let me ask you, so before we take it to the public, is there anybody from council that wants to speak on this motion? Being that nobody from council would like to speak on the motion, I turn it over to our Roswell residents. Any Roswell residents would like to address this motion about the possible deferment or speak about the matter before it's deferred? Being that, I see Sharon Izo raising her hand back there. Sharon's a department head for Public Works, and she's wanted to talk about this. I don't know why. All right, so that no Roswell residents want to speak about this matter at this time. I'm going to bring it back to council, and Councilmember Palermo, I'm going to ask you if you have a motion.
Motion to defer item number 1 until the November 28th, 2022 mayor and council meeting.
Thank you, Councilmember Palermo. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Vanstrom. All those in favor of the motion to defer item 1, please raise your hands. It passes unanimously. Thank you. The item is deferred to the November 28th meeting. Thank you very much, Councilmember Palermo. Mr. Davidson, would you please read your report?
Thank you, Mayor. The only item I have is a recommendation for closure to discuss personnel, litigation, and real estate.
Well, I guess got to stop you for a second. This will be the shortest city council meeting of this year. I don't think we know what to do.
Can you please not stop him?
And clearly, East Roswell Park is very efficient. So
Yeah.
it's very efficient here. The one thing
We'll be
that,
back in 2 weeks.
yes. The one thing I'll be wanting to, on a serious note, the one thing I will want to be getting verification from is my hope is for all of those that are not able to make it in person tonight, my hope is that the audio is completely clear. I almost wish we'd have some public comment tonight just to ensure it's all clear there, but I guess the mayor got up and spoke from that mic. But I think it's very important that we're in convenient locations, and also very important that anyone can watch and listen from the comfort of their own home as well.
Thanks, Mike. So just to give everybody make sure it's very transparent and they're knowledgeable. The motion was deferred, and we obviously that will be revisited on November 28th. And you're also requesting any comment, right, or emails as well on the matter, correct?
Well, it's just in general, as liaison, I've always made sure, and over the years with previous councils, it's just, there's some situations where someone might have come tonight and they're not able to come on, say, November 28th, and that's where we want to make sure to hear from them.
Thanks, Mike. Thank
Yeah.
you. All right, so David, is there a motion for closure?
So move.
Second.
All right, the motion for closure has been first and seconded. Thank you very much. All those in favor of going to closure, please raise your hands. We go to closure unanimously. Thank you very much. Being that there are no other items, this mayor and city council meeting of November 14th, 2022 is adjourned. Thank you for coming. We're so glad you were here.